welcome back, folks. Today it's the last day of the formal session for our data services training, and on the 10th day, I wanted to cover change data capture. Change data capture is the actual term they use, but it is more or less, if you look at it, after moving the data from source to target using our ETL process, there will be a delta load every day. So the delta load, they are calling it as a change data capture because Oracle allows this CDC operation by which what they mean is it will record the session in the way that it can identify all the updates and inserts that has happened to the record from yesterday till today. I mean, whatever the time frame we have, the refresh intervals, and the process is really fast, and it can directly merge the data or load the deltas to the target in the way we define in the ETL process. So let us just try to peep into the tutorial there, the only part which we left over, and after we cover the CDC, I mean the change in data capture, we would go and see how to get used to the multi-user environment, which is our central repository. And there ends the show, and you have everything in your pocket that you can start working. So if you see here, we have to start defining global variables, because by using the global variables we are going to design our jobs, and every job should run based on a start time and end time that we are putting onto the job. So because if you see, you'll create two jobs in the exercise. The first job initially loads all the rows from the source table. You will then introduce a change to the source table. The second job, delta, identifies only the rows that have been added to, changed and loaded, changed and loads them into the target table. You'll create the target table from a template table. So that is the exercise he's asking us to do. We would try to do in the same way. First we will load a table directly, and he is taking the example of customer table, and the column called as custom time cust timestamp has to be taken for the CDC operation to get performed, and that too we are going to define these two global variables called as GV. GV stands for global variable, and end time and start time is the one which we are going to use for getting those delta of the customer load, whatever we have loaded. Because so far whenever I try to load, I never put a filter. It always used to get everything from source to target. So the session introduces you to the change data capture, global variables, scripts and tables, out of which all the three of these sub functionalities we already know about it. The global variables I have defined couple of times, and we try to make use of it. And we know a little bit about scripts and also the template tables, because we were using every day in our exercises, or we were also using in the demonstration. At first, when I tried to show you the template model and the best practices, I was showing all of that. So first create the job that initially loads the target table. So he is asking us to create a job called as a job CDC initial. In this section includes the following tasks: adding a job and defining global variables, defining the workflows, defining the data flow. So it is the same sequence we have to follow, except that he's asking us to go with the global variables. So first let us go and start working on the job, and we would make progress in the same way, exactly whatever is being told in the tutorial. So he's asking us to do a new job and name the job as job CDC initial. So I would do the same, job CDC initial, and he is asking us to define global variables for this. So I will go to tools. When I am at the job level only, I can define these variables. If you go into variables, you have global. So say insert, double click on that and name it as GV. I think it was start time, not the start date. So let me confirm before I do that. Yeah, GV start time and GV end time, I see them. Yeah, when we call it time, you have to always pick up timestamp here, or you can pick up date and time. Timestamp is a little bit different than date and time. If any of you guys know about it, go ahead and tell what would be the difference between a date time and a timestamp. Yeah. No. If it gives only time, how would we understand which day the time belongs to? Okay. See, if you look at it beyond time, we have a small factor on any date. If you have a date and a time, there are different formats of date and time, right? 24 hours and 12 hours, and lot of them we have different time zones also. And beyond time zones, we have AM, PM. So this all has to be considered before you do any kind of a database operation. So always they will recommend us to base on the timestamp. For example, if I run a select statement, we'll see what will happen. Select star from, okay, select this date actually from dual. I'm selecting it from the dual table, which is the Oracle table. If you see here, it is saying 10 I mean October 2nd. We'll have to actually, today is Gandhi Jayanti. At least I should spend 1 minute for my dear Gandhi, who gave us I mean who fought for the freedom. So it is good that at least I remember that it is October 2nd and it's his birthday. So select the system date from dual. If you see, it is giving a date and time followed by whether it is AM or PM. So if I say select current timestamp from UL, you would see the difference now. You see it? It has the milliseconds also. These are the milliseconds and it has even the time zone format. So that would be the difference. When you have the timestamp, you have more information. You can also say whether you are in Indian Standard Times or Eastern Standard Times. By default, Oracle will take it as the UTF, UTC, I think. So it is showing as a minus 7, which is 7 hours later to the Greenwich Meridian time, the GMT. So that's the major difference actually. So if we go, I have defined the job name and I have given a start date, start time and end time. So in few cases you may have to consider, if you are into global business, they may ask you consider the time zone and everything. So at that time we'll have to be smart of using timestamp. And timestamp, it can be different in data services than what it is in Oracle or any other databases, because they have their own format of timestamp locally. So make sure that your timestamp format is compatible with whatever data services displays there. You can also run a small script so that it displays you. Let us see what will be the format of the timestamp here. So I will create one more global variable just for ourselves. I say it as a timestamp and I will declare it as a timestamp and see what will it display. Now I have given three variables. I wanted to see what the three variables can be initialized, what is the date difference between Oracle and how it displays in data services. For that I can say initialize script in which I'm going to call these global variables so that it displays you what it is taking as. So I will say $gv start time is equal to, we have here sysdate and systime. So I can, here sysdate and sysdate gives date and time, whereas systime gives only time, I think so. Because this function changed recently. Earlier we have to concatenate ourselves. It never used to give them separately. I mean, it used to give them separately and we have to concatenate, but now it is fine. So the date time is, you can append this global variable so that it prints the start time. So here the system date, whatever I have put in here, it is not the database function. It is the local time format of data services. So if we wanted to call the same thing from database, we'll have to write it like this and say um, ora ora src underscore ds. This is the data store name, and I will have to give select star, no, select sysdate from dual. This is the way we have to retrieve it from database. So I'm trying to give both of them, and the last thing I will do is the timestamp. So bear with me. I would put even underscore time. Okay. I have to put the dollar symbol only, then it is going to give me this, so that it is easy for me to make the selection without making any typos. So if I say here sys time, I I think I do have the current timestamp here. Let me check. No, I don't have. So I will pull out the sys time. We will see what this sys time is. So in database it is different, and in data services it is different. So we are trying to print and see what will be the difference. You will have to be smart while using dates, guys, because a format always is you'll have to convert into data services format by giving a to date or anything, so that they'll be in the same format and you don't get confused. So if I run the script without anything, even this can display you. It is throwing some warning saying it is trying to convert them into varchar. That is fine for me. So see, without doing anything, if I execute this job, it should print me those two results saying this is a timestamp. So if you see, this is the timestamp. The the date time is like this. So I did not put the database format there. I should have put one more print statement. So the date time, this is data services date time, whereas the same thing I try to use, and I have to print it one more time to just get the difference. Why am I showing this is, you have to understand the format, guys, only then it will be easy for you to work on these jobs. So if you see the Oracle date time, it did not print anything. I don't know the reason now. GV start time, and I have the select statement here saying select this date from dual. So why should it not run? What mistake I did here. Uh, is Oracle not running for me again? I don't think. Okay, okay, it is working fine. So let me double click to import the tables, then we'll start looking into it. So we were going to do this operation based on the customer table. So I will go and find out what customer table I have here. I have more than one customer tables, but I will just take one of them because this is the Oracle Data Warehouse product wherein they try to put the OBIE, BI tables and also the ODS tables. They try to give you more when we do the installation. It will ask you if it is going to be used for data warehouse, and if I wanted to load the sample database, it loads all this for me. So I picked up that option, and that's what I'm seeing here. So I have OE customers which I wanted to take, so I'm importing that table. We will see why it did not print the Oracle timestamp there, because the same query I have run here and it prints fine the select star, I mean select sysdate from dual, whereas I ran it is overloaded. It's the same error I get every day because I have too many things running, Oracle Data Services and also Camtasia. So there are too many things, so it is crawling. But let me know if you have any problem hearing me so that I join on the phone. So it has to actually print the Oracle time also, because I am running the same select statement whatever I am running there, but due to some reason it is not printing. But we will try more than one way of doing it. Or let me put, if if at all uh, if at all it could not refresh, the global variable. I am trying to put the end time so that it will at least display the end time, but I don't think that is the problem, but I'm trying it. When I try to give something extra, things go wrong and make it uneasy. See, it is still not printing the Oracle date time. Whatever could be the reason, the last thing I could do is, I mean, it is not required for me. I'll just proceed forward. But there is a time format difference between Oracle and data services, guys. I just wanted you to notice that when you do a job. Here, always the format is yyy.mm.dd followed by the time hh. Here it is always in the hh 24 format. There are different formats like 24 hours or 12 hours. So here it is the 24-hour format. And if you see here the system, it is displaying as the start of the century 1900 but then you see the timestamp format. When I say system, it is giving the milliseconds also there. So that is what is the difference there. But now let us go and do whatever the exercise we were performing to get this CDC. So the target database contains a job status table called as a CDC time that stores the last value, which is the end time. Because every time when I run the job, I will have to maintain this particular date and time recorded somewhere. So he is asking me to record in the CDC underscore time. That is the table he is saying. Let me go and see if I have a CDC underscore time table here so that I can use the same. Else I have to generate a new table. I think it should be there, but if it is not there, we are going to generate it quickly. But I'm doing a quick check to see if I have anything called as a CDC status table. because this is the Oracle data service, I mean database or data warehousing environment. So most probably we should see that. If we don't see, it won't take too long for us to create a table like that. So we will also do running a create script there. It shouldn't bother us, but I'm trying to check if we have anything like that. And why am I not using the other functionality of importing by name is because I wasn't certain about if we have that or not. And you know, the owner name also has to be given properly, but we don't know the owner name of the table, so we can create it ourselves, no worries. So after that, let us see what are the steps involved, and I have to actually go through exactly what he is saying, so that you guys also will follow the data services tutorial and start working on your exercises. Actually, adding the job and defining global variables, that is what we did. And uh, and after that, so to add the job and define the global variables to class exercise project, add the job name. I already added. So adding global variables and adding or defining workflows and defining data flows. So we have already added global variables, and followed by I should define a workflow which he says as workflow CDC initial. So the same thing we have to do. So I go back here. I'm putting this initialization script there, though he hasn't mentioned it there, but let it be. The workflow is here, and I copied the same name so that it makes our life easier to be in sync with whatever he is telling. So he's asking us click script icon to tool palette and place script on the left side of the workspace. Already we have we did that, but he's asking us to name it as set start and time. So it, I mean, generic name is initialize, but because he's asking us to name it like that, we would do it. So I will name it in the same way, and then add a data flow to the right of the script and name it as df cdc initial. But you know what he is telling, he is asking me to put inside the workflow, but I have put it outside the workflow. That is only the difference, but we can always move the script inside the workflow. There is no harm, so I will do that. And let us also define the data flow, and he says add another script to the right of the data flow cdc initialize and name it as date cdc timetable, and connect the two scripts to the data flow. So what he's telling is we just missed, we jumped the gun here, and we did not put one of the steps which he asked us, but we'll put it now here. So he's asking us to put these two scripts here, not outside. So I will do the same way. Instead, I can delete this and copy this one. Always the copy paste or the cut paste work. Just that you know, you can copy it and paste it here. In the same way, I can put one more script because that is what is being asked. And I was asked to name it specifically like this. So let me name it, because it is kind of a best practice that we follow whatever data services advises, so that we are following their standards. So I'm doing it the same way. So we are almost done, because when working with the initial job, we'll have to follow exactly the steps. So I have connected in the same way. So in the object library, open the customer source table by clicking click the view data tab to view the entire table. Click and open in the new window. Notice the oldest timestamp in the customer timestamp column is 2008-03-27. We'll go and check if that is correct or not. And in the project area, go back to its definition in the workspace. Click the set start date and script, and he's asking us to give a date like this. So that's what we will be doing now. start time and end time is the system date because this is the initial job we are going to run. But let us first go and quickly check if this is the right table we pulled or not, because we have to get the same data as been advised there. So I'm going into the source database. I wanted to right click and say view data. So this is the customer table, and I should have the cust underscore, what is the field name? Uh, cust underscore timestamp, or what was it? Yeah, cust underscore timestamp. If I pull the right table, it should be the cust underscore timestamp. But surprisingly, I don't see the same thing here. This is some other table it seems. So let us try to pull any other table that we have here that has a cust timestamp. If we don't have, even we can make use of any of the timestamp fields that we have there, but we will try to do exactly what they asked us to do. So here I'm trying to find out the customer table. Bear with me. So I have the OC customer, but I don't know what the OC customer and OE customer means. Currently we have the OE customer, so let me also import this. It could be something related to source, or I may be totally missing that table in my installation, but then we should be fine or good to go with any table that is available here. So here it has a customer ID and a customer email and very minimal information. It doesn't have really anything what he is telling, the timestamp field. And is there any other customer table, guys, that you see here? There is counters, there is employees, there is no. I don't see a customer table and exactly the format which he is telling. Okay, we have this one, the last one. Let us import and see if it is the one he is talking about, and if not, we will go with whatever we have. Exactly, this is the one. If you see here, effective from, okay, effective to, which means this is a data warehouse table, because when there is an effective from date and to date and validation flag, then I know this should be a data warehouse table instead of a source table. So this is not the one. So we will take one table, guys. There is no harm. We will not consider the other two tables. So I will remove these two tables. I mean, always you can right click and say delete so that they'll be gone from here so that you'll not have any confusion. The reason is we are working with the same database instance, but then we are trying to mimic it as saying this is a different source, this is a different target. But now let us go and see and define whatever is being mentioned here. So I will take the exact same format and everything given here. If you see the format they are giving, so I was trying to tell you what would be the data services format. So in the same way they gave you the format also. The format is always data services will take this format by default, and if you wanted to pass some other format, you'll have to do a to date function. Only then it can accept a different format. So we have initialized the global variables, and I have already validated it. So it is asking us to update the CDC timetable. First thing is we have to set the start and end time in the script, and we have already set it. Delete from target, and it is saying insert into target CDC time value. this particular value, because I don't have anything in the CDC timestamp table currently. I'm going to use only insert. But if you put a delete, it is kind of a safe thing. If at all the job has ran already, he's asking us to run the exact script so that it deletes. But we'll have to name this a little bit different here, because we have given it as a different name. Okay, this should work now. So he's asking us to give the insert statement. Still I see there is some kind of a problem here, because I don't think, okay, yeah, that is correct. We'll have to give in the same format, and if we validate, it should validate without any error, so that we are in safe zone. So after that, let us see what is asking us to do. Ensure that username in your script matches the username defined in the table, because it is going to point exactly to the same schema. That is also very important for us. So he is asking us to make sure that we do it in the right way. So here actually I have to throw a little important thing. I always insist on defining an alias from the day one, so that you'll not have this problem, because the target owner or the source owner can keep changing at any time. So what we'll have to do is we have to go here, edit, and go to advanced. In the advanced, I always prefer to add an alias name. Whether in this tutorial it is currently given or not, I still wanted to do this. So on the right hand side, we will give the actual table owner name, and here the table owner for me is I think it was OS or OE, I think, yeah. Under OE, uh, we bought this table out, I think, the customer table. Um, yeah, this is the table I bought in, and so the owner name is always the schema name. If you see, this is the owner name, so I'm passing the same owner name here, so that it will get the exact owner, I mean exact table from that schema. So I passed that. In the same way, I have to even, oh, that actually in the source, isn't it? Because that is the source for us. Okay, I have defined that in the target, which is wrong. So I have to do it in the source. So here I will say ds owner, and this is aliasing is very important, guys. At the start of the project, you will have to define your data stores with an alias name, so that you'll not mess up when you really go and run your jobs. It is going to say the table does not exist, or the owner is wrong. It keeps throwing you errors, so you always have to give an alias name. In general, they suggest us to give it as a DS owner, which means data services owner. but but that is fine. Whatever name you wanted to give, your organization asks you to give, you can certainly give that. But here let us figure out which would be our target schema, and we'll put the target schema name instead of the source schema name there. So I should see a data warehouse schema here. So let me see if sh is something which I saw uh, that had the data warehousing format here. If you look at it, the yes, this is the data warehouse format, because when they have a from date and to date and a customer valid flag INA, though we don't know what means by INA, because these are the specifically that particular domain or some business they are talking about. So it could be active and inactive, so they named it as I and A. So I is inactive, A is active. But you see, the surprise for me is all the end dates are open, so that is fine. But I want the owner which is sh. So I'm going to use that owner as sh here. Okay, now this has to be, the cdc time has to be in sh. So instead of sh, what I will do here is I will say ds owner, so that at the runtime it will take the ds owner instead. It will not try to search for anything different. So now we are in good shape here. The initialize script is being defined in the same way, and and let's see further whatever at the data flow level he asked us. Next, define a data flow. The target table for this data flow will be the template table. We will certainly do the same way, and schema or import metadata instead. During job execution, data services has a dbms to create the table. He's talking about the template table. So we know all about template table, so I'm not going to read through that. So in the data flow, he's asking us to define in the object library from ODS DS data store. Because at first he would have asked us to name the data store as ODS underscore DS. He's trying to tell the same thing now. But this ODS DS, why I realize now. He is not talking about the schemas which I installed. Instead, he is talking about the data services, whatever he has given in the tutorial. So that is the reason we were seeing the tables different, because I have installed Oracle, and by default Oracle can install a sample database, but it is not exactly same whatever data services ask us to install. So we can quickly go here and get the same table if at all we want. And one important thing is, if at all everything is set up as per whatever suggested by data services, if you say create tables underscore aura dot bat, if you run this batch file, it will automatically create all those tables. But unfortunately there can be a version difference, and so it would not run exactly, though it showed as if so it ran. It won't create anything here. If you go and refresh the schemas, if you see an ODS schema, then the job ran in whatever way we thought, but I never saw it been happening so far. So I won't be surprised if I don't have an ODS schema here. But as per the recommendation, if you see here, it would be a schema getting created when you run this create tables.bat. We can edit and see what it is trying to do. If you see, it will try to create uh, in this particular, I mean, you need to have the same TNS entry and everything in your SQL plus, only then it is going to do exactly the way it is being set. But we are not using the exact way, so that is okay. We can create one table manually, which is the customer table. So I go to the scripts, which is create tables underscore oracle source tables, which is the ODS aura.sql, and open it in notepad, get the customer script out, and run it for us. So there is ODS delivery, ODS customer table. This is the customer table he was talking about. So let me directly take this script and run it in my environment here, so that it creates a table for us. This is the same thing we did when we started the class. I did the same thing in MySQL, if you remember. So first thing is I have to create a user or a schema. So I will say create schema ODS. I think if I don't give a password, it is going to curse me, but let me try. Missing schema authorization class. So I should always give schema identified by ODS, I think. That is a schema script, I think, but it is wrong. Uh, Here you'll have when you use a tool like PL SQL Developer, if you wanted to create a schema, you can always do it from here. That is allowed. All we have to find where the script is lying, because you can always ask the tool to write the script for you instead of you doing it. So find a db. Okay, even I think we will have the script also in this file, because by default it will not have, right? So alter table ODS sales order, drop the constraints. They have given all that, but where is the ODS schema? They should give us even the script that will create the ODS schema, but I don't see that. Hmm. Okay, it shouldn't be a problem. Wherever we run, it shouldn't be a problem, but then I wanted to create it as ODS so that it is easy for us. Okay, it says, okay, I have created a user, and under ODS I will do this under this particular user so that it gets created under ODS exactly. Okay, so when I create a user, it doesn't have the rights to create a table there. So we say grant grant create rights, or else the other way is, because this is the tool, the user would have appeared here, which is the ODS user I just created. You can go and always change the permissions or privileges he has. So I will go and see. Currently he doesn't have any grants or roles here, so we can always do that. So in the roles and privileges, you see he has no system privileges, he has no tables. In this situations, what I will do, I will copy the existing schema so that it is easy for me. So you see here now what I'm going to do. This is the way your life will become easier. If you take all this, it is the same kind of permissions we need. So I have to just, what happened? So I have to search and replace OE to ODS. That's it. The facility of using some tools. Now it has all the rights. If you wanted to do in SQL plus, it is going to be very complex for us to achieve the same thing in this quick time. So we have to get the ODS customer. It is asking us to insert this. If the timestamp doesn't trouble us, they get inserted without any issues. Let us see if it is not going to trouble us. It should trouble us some or other way. See, the tabular view does not exist. So, is it not the ODS customer I have created? Yes, I did. But then it will be asking for the schema now. So I should give it as ODS, the schema name. So instead of doing it manually, I can also do a search and replace. But guys, if you follow the tutorial properly, you don't need to go in this root process, whichever I am doing. It will be able to tell you how to generate all these schemas so that you can insert data without any issues like whatever I am facing. So exactly follow the tutorial. It inserted data for us, so we are fine there. So I committed. So now if we go and see in the table, we exactly will have, I don't need to save the script. So which is the table I have created? It is the ODS. So if I refresh and get in, I should see this object getting created under tables, ODS customer, and if you say query data, you'll see the data. This is the exact table which he was telling. Though they named it as current timestamp, you don't have the time factor there. It is only the date factor, but that is fine. That is the reason if you see in the job level they are passing it as all zeros because there is no time factor included in there. So we are good there. The only other thing we have to do is we'll have to create a table called as a CDC timestamp. So it is only a one small one column we have to put it, which is the end time that we wanted to record, so that next time when we go, we take our end time as a start time and run it to date. So let me show you what he was talking about exactly. So one second, the right hand side it is not allowing me or not very friendly for me, so I moved that one there. So if you go and look at here, they are asking you to define a table and then insert a record into that table, or have one column at least that could actually take care of this time whichever we wanted to insert. So we have to create the table. That is the point what I am trying to tell you. So in data services, if you see, all we are trying to do is it is only one column, guys. So if you see, CDC time is the table he want us to create, and in the CDC time it should be able to capture the end time. So let us do the same thing whatever is being suggested, so that we follow the steps they are giving. So here I say create table, and in the schema it should be what was my target there. I should create in exact the same way. It is a sh table is my target, which I took it like that. Any schema should be fine, so I will write it into sh dot this, and I have to um, create table name with the character, I mean with the data type. So this should be date time. If I am not wrong with the syntax, we should be good, but let us go and see a DDL. Because we don't write any table structures here, we would not be remembering the syntaxes and formats. But if I'm not wrong, I can directly give a date time so that it works. I gave it, but before running I saw if it works or not. Missing or invalid option. So it is not allowing me to give a date time because there is nothing like a date time, I think. So we will say time timestamp. Now it should work. Uh, Hold on one second, guys. Or else I can even create the table. As I told you, there is always an opportunity. From here, I can run a create table script. By default, it will generate me a table. New owner is system, and here I'll have to put the CDC underscore time. So I don't need to give this clusters and all. I just need to give the columns, which is end time, and the type I can always define, which is here we were facing issues. I took it as right like timestamp, but still it was not allowing me. So now it would have generated a table with that name. If I am not wrong, I should see the table. Okay, there is end time here. Uh, the row ID is always by default Oracle generates a row ID table there. So that's fine. We have come up to that point. So we pass that. It will be able to insert into that table. And now we go into the actual data flow and then do whatever we are being asked. So to define a data flow query in the project area, click query CDC to open in the query editor and drag the following columns from schema in pane to schema out pane. So these are all the columns which he asked us to drag from source to target. So we will do that. And in the where class we have to put this way so that we actually will pass the where class like this. So let us do it instead of reading through. If I do it, it is very easy. It is not nothing complex in there. So let me go back to my data flow and I start putting the tables whichever he suggested. So it is the ODS. Okay, it's not the ODS DS. For me it is Aura. So I don't have the table. I have to get the table. It is a new schema which I created, which is called as ODS. So okay, now I know the table name. So the better way, when you know the table name, you right click and say import by name. So the name of the table was customer, and the owner of the table, because we just created now, I remember it is ODS. ODS.customer doesn't exist. Is that not what we just created? Okay, the table name is ODS underscore customer, guys. When the schema name is ODS, why do they wanted to trouble us by giving it again as ODS underscore customer? Under ODS, it is, we know that it is, but okay, so we have to go with them, whatever they say. So in the tables, I pick this, make it as a source, and all I was asked is to take a query transform, make it as an input, and take a template table and name it as whatever they are telling. But right now I can pick any of this and name it just in the way they asked me to name it. I don't know if they have given us a target table name, but checking here. So the target table name, click the name, and target table is a cust underscore CDC. I will do the same thing, why not? So I mapped it, and here I have to get all those columns which I was asked to get. So why am I today going with this showing you all this is, I know you will not follow the tutorial. You'd be jumping like whatever I try to do. But then if you follow the tutorial strictly, it is always beneficial, because if I missed anything, the tutorial will cover it for you, because I don't exactly go in the way the tutorial says, because they would give it only very minimal information, but I am trying to give you little more information and put few more transformations and then explain you things. So in the where class we were asked to define the ODS customer timestamp in the same way we have to define, but instead of copying and pasting it back, I would define it myself so that you will see what is happening. So when you put it like this and put a greater than symbol, you will have to give dollar, and it all obviously will pop out, and you can select it from here, and you'll have to type it. Any keyword will be highlighted in this kind of a blue color, And again we'll say ODS customer timestamp, drag and drop and say less than. Again when you put a dollar it gives you. So let me see if I made the proper condition. I should put a greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. While I am doing this, I have to tell you one important thing, because many people have faced this issue. If they wanted to run a database way of doing it, like if you wanted to do an in statement, I will show you how to do an in statement in the same, say at the same time when I do this. So I wanted to say region ID in. So before I do that, let me validate so that you know the error is going to come up because of the in statement, and we will fix that. So it has a where class that has a problem. What is the problem? I don't see it here. Greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. We exactly gave in the same way we were asked to give here. Uh, though we follow every rule, it was troubling us now again. I don't see any issue in the where class, but syntax error. Brackets will automatically come up. We don't need to actually give the bracket. Maybe somewhere something is wrong. Brackets, when you obviously save it, it is going to automatically put out the brackets, guys. I will show you also that. If I go back now, I should. Brackets will come up by themselves, but it is not the brackets. So let us look at the error, whatever it is telling. So it says invalid where class syntax at the error line and ODS less than or equal to timestamp. Okay, I think it is the less than symbol which would have caused the problem. I think now it should work. See, but if you look at the PDF, I think they gave it right way. So copy paste always works better than what we do. So here, if I say and I wanted to show you how to put an in condition, guys. Here, if I say in, the database way of doing it is only like this, but it won't work. In works actually, in will work, not in will not work. That is the important thing I wanted to show you. So if I say not in this, it is going to throw an error saying invalid where class, because it will not take not in the format that database accepts it. So instead you'll have to say and not the column name and put an in, because this is one of the troubles you'll have, and you'll not find in any help file about how to make use of not in. So I try to show you here, but this is not required. I will delete that. So I will stick to whatever is been advised to us. So I have validated it. Now the job is defined in the same way as we wanted and as been advised in the tutorial. And you have to say all, and then if you start running the job, it should load the data. Now he is asking us adding and defining the delta load job. So we will have to define a delta load job before we do anything, but that is fine. If we wanted to run up to this and go forward, or if we wanted to define the other data flow which he is asking us, it is both good ways, but we will go as been recommended. We are asked now to define a job that is called as delta. He did not ask us to run the job. I don't think so. So yeah, uh, Yeah, I don't see that we are asked to run the job at. So let us keep proceeding with delta job load. So in the delta job load, what would be the difference is important for us, and I told you I will show few other options. So I would also cover that, allow merge and those options. But just quickly looking in because it may be very tough for us to follow each and every step and reach the target. So I'm trying to check I'm trying to check whatever is here. So if I go ahead and copy and paste whatever is given here, it makes our life easier. So I will do that certainly. So finally, when we execute the job, customer ID, zip, and execute the delta load job, and there ends the story. So let me let me build the job whatever they are telling, and then we will proceed only from there. Because I I exactly wanted to follow the steps so that I haven't missed anything. But are you able to understand, guys? Whatever we are trying to do is the same repetition from the day one, whatever we are trying, but we are just following the way that is being advised here. We already followed all these best practices in the first class itself. So for me, there is nothing new that is happening here. But for you, maybe if you haven't practiced anything, you'd be seeing it as a little bit new. But I'm going to add the delta load job, and we will run the job. And I would also try to put a conditional and show you a little more things. So let me define this delta job, whichever is here quickly. It won't take too long if I don't narrate too much. That it won't take too long. So I come out of here and uh, I don't see where he asked us to define the delta load job. He wanted to proceed or he wanted to do it separately. Okay. In the object library, he want us to create it separately. So he don't want us to run along with this. So that's the reason. So here, if we say a new data flow, and this is the data flow we wanted to do, the df cdc delta, and I'm going to go quickly and copy paste everything whatever is given here so that it is easy for us to go with. Oh, we are asked to do something. Replicate the initial job. You see here, we'll have to replicate the initial job and rename it actually. We missed the steps. It is better I read through each and every step and then define so that we save some time. Uh, so df cdc initial. Where is the df cdc initial? Here. You can right click and say replicate. So the job is replicated. You can now rename the job to CDC Delta, and in the Delta job we'll have to do all these modifications whatever is currently being suggested. So we renamed and replicated. So in the project area, click on the job and say tools variables and parameters window appears, and is asking us to put the GV start time and start date. We already did that. So in the CDC Delta is asking us to create one more workflow, job CDC, add a workflow to job CDC Delta. So I have to create a job now, CDC Delta. So this is CDC initial, and now I will have to create a new batch job, which is job underscore CDC Delta, and in this I wanted to define a workflow in the same way. So it is exactly the same name. Let me give it. Copy pasting is easier so that we can debug it in the proper way. So now I wanted to define a data flow, and okay, there is a name conflict. Okay, I already have the data flow which I replicated, so it is not allowing me to create one more. So let me drag. All we are trying to do is repeat all the steps so far whatever uh, we have did, guys. So instead of creating everything from scratch, he is asking us to replicate it and then pull it out here, but I think the script will change. So here I'll have to get a new script. Both the end and start scripts are going to be new, and in which I have to put the start and end scripts as suggested here. So you have the actual conversion here the last time from the CDC time. So he has used a column name again different, which I did not follow. But then let us do it really quick. So instead of redoing everything, I wanted to go here, copy paste whatever I have in the initial load job so that it is easier. I can always choose any of them I want, and I say control and copy paste anywhere I want. That is one of the new things with data services they allowed. So in here, let me take off this and quickly get whatever is given here. Oh, this is for MySQL Server and this is for Oracle. So we will take the Oracle one and put it into the job. And we have to rename certain things because we did not exactly have the same table names. So the only difference is here this particular table is created in SH, I think, and here I have named it as not the target DS, instead I have it as that's it. Okay, we did not declare the variable, so it is asking us to do it because I did it in the other job. If I were I mean, if I wanted to run my way of doing it, I would have replicated the previous job instead of redoing all this. I don't know why they asked us to redo. Maybe just for the practice purpose we were advised in that way. But instead of replicating at the data flow level, I could always do it at the job level and certainly get the work done faster. So no, I should not insert local variable. Instead, I should insert global variable. Make it date and time. Fast, 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 fast. Hmm. And I have to get one more, which is the end time. The pain is the job. I mean, global variables at the job level. So if you wanted to reuse the same global variables in a different job, if you don't have a templating, then you have to go with the actual painful process of redoing everything. You have to define the variables and then only you can be able to use them because they are at the job level, not the project level. There is a good reason why they have put it at the project level rather than sorry, job level rather than project level, because job when in runtime it has to actually uh, assign the global variables at runtime. That is the reason they have put in that way. So in the update CDC timetable script, so this is the select and click update CDC timetable script, name the open script. And did they ask us to define a script like this? new start date and time, and I mean we can write the update statement anywhere, but he asked us to define a separate script. So this update, let me take it, and this is the last, at last when it has to go and update this time, it has to update it. So here I need to define it as aura underscore tgt underscore ds. No, no, no. This is the aura underscore tgt ds. Okay, it's now valid. So we're good there. So executing the jobs, that is a final step he's asking us to do. I mean, we are actually completed with doing building two jobs. So first thing is we'll have to run the initial job, which will load 12 records as per what we see, and we go into the source and modify something as he is mentioning, and then we'll rerun. So here we'll have to run the first job, which is the initial job. I'll say execute. Yes. If it doesn't fail, I am surprised, because somewhere I would have made a small mistake at least on the global variable or something. So certainly it failed. So a table or view does not exist. CDC time. Did not I create the table? I think I created. So where did the table go? I think I created the table, but it went into some default schema, it seems. Again, it is troubling me. Somewhere it went in. So here it is. So all we'll have to do is get the DDL, and I would rerun it certainly. It shouldn't be a problem. So here it is not the end time, instead it is last underscore time. So here instead of system, I need to give sh and run it again. The table is created. Let me rerun the job and see if it works. The number of failures happen here, it is all good for you, because if everything is successful in the tutorial what we are doing, you'll not see what kind of errors we are facing and how am I trying to fix them. Still it says the table does not exist, the reason being the DS owner, it could have not pinged the DS owner, but there is a definitely different way of getting that DS owner working. Aura tgt underscore ds, and let me go and see, because we have defined in in exactly the way we want. We have defined as DS owner and I have it as SH. So the table is also defined and declared in the same schema. I think I should see the table here. Did I not do it in SH? Yes, I did. So here you see the table. CDC type. Okay, let me not bother too much. I have to just take it off this way. And it is just that it is not allowing me to use the owner name there. We'll fix that later. This again print insert into not a valid month. This is just the format. I mean, they did not ask us to convert the format. Whatever was being asked, I tried to do it, but now it says the format issue. So quickly we'll have to fix the format ourselves, though they did not give us. Uh, so we are doing the sys date here. So in the values, what I will have to do is I put a 2 underscore date so that it actually converts the incoming date to the Oracle format. That's what I'm trying to do here. So yyyy dot mm dot dd hh mi dot ss. Here is one important thing I would show you guys. This is how when we face issues we will learn something new. If you wanted to pass anything into an SQL script, you will have to follow this format. You will have to give a slash in the same way I am trying to give, only then it accepts, or else it is not going to accept anything that you pass as a constant or as whatever the variable you wanted to pass. If you want to hard code a value or pass a format, this is how you have to do in data services. You will have to put a slash. Slash is the character that it determines when you pass it into a script. So you'll have to certainly do that, only then it will allow you. I mean, the reason I put to date here instead of here is just to show you how we make use of it. Or else you can also do a to date in data services and also change the format. But I am doing it inside database so that I exactly give the format what it likes. Missing comma. Where am I missing a comma here? Uh, Somewhere still I am wrong. It says missing comma. I think I should not get into all this trouble that easily. No, this is not right. Earlier whatever I have given was right, because from the color itself I can identify that this is how it should be. But why is it throwing an error for me there? Missing comma. I don't see any validation error here, but it still says I'm missing some comma. Okay, let me not bother myself. As I told you, I can also put a to date here and convert the system date and then pass it. I but he did not surprise. I'm surprised to see that data services they did not ask us to do this in the tutorial, but we are doing it ourselves. So they should certainly take care of the formatting issue upfront, but they did not take care of it. Maybe they have a different setting and it got inserted fine for them, but it is not inserting for me because we exactly did in the same way we were advised to do without not even missing one single script whatever he has given. I have exactly copied and pasted the same thing, right? So here he has given the same format and still it is troubling us and I'm trying to convert the format even then there is some problem. So let me, I mean, there is other way which we could do quickly. If I give the Oracle format, I know the Oracle standard format. So I can always take out all this and give a standard format just to make it work. But we have to go and understand why is it not working there. So here I have to give sysdate which is today. So I'm going to directly type in the sysdate in the same format which Oracle requires it. Oracle takes it like this. And this is the format in general Oracle accepts. So let me try giving it and if it works we will go with it. We have two errors. The quicker I want it to do, the more it is struggling. Set start date, I have a syntax error. Okay, I see. Okay, now this is the last time I will try to run and see if it works. Yet, yep, it finally worked, but the row count is 12, whatever is been mentioned there. And let us go. No, first let me view you the data. I have to show some other important things which are not in the tutorial. I will show you that. But there are 12 records as been told to us. And now we are asked to go and make a change in the source data, I think. If I am not wrong, we have to go and see whatever I'm thinking is correct. So when we execute the initial load job, he says the 12 records has to get loaded. Now use the table editing in the DBA Studio if it is MySQL and if the database does not allow null values field, copy the data into another row. He's all advising us to insert one small record there. So the current date and timestamp appropriate in the database it comes up like this and execute the delta load. All we have to do is insert a new record and see if it gets only that particular record or not. That's all we are trying to do. We have did this several times, right? So this is, they call it as CDC, change data capture, but it is the same thing we were doing so far. So I have to go and edit the table. Actually not the table, right? I have to edit the data. So there should be an option for me to edit the data here. So edit data and I can give a new one or I can obviously put an older one, but he asked me to type in something like this so that we identify that we have got the right record. And then I will show you some, at least one or two uh, so in the current timestamp, though I don't give anything by default, it will take the system timestamp. So let us see if I am right. it should certainly take, see, today's time. So if I run the delta job, if we don't face any issues of global variables and all, it should run and get me only that one record, because the where class is already defined in the same way as we were suggested. But no surprise, it got me 0 records, because somewhere we would have did something wrong. So let us go and see if it has loaded the CDC time, because based on that CDC time only now it can get us the new data. So this is all, I mean, you have to start working on it, then it becomes easier for you to understand these date time formats. It is not that hard, but then you have to put some efforts. So let me see the data here. So it got inserted. The only thing I see is it has a different date format here. So let me go back to the job and see if my job has exactly got the same thing or not. In the where condition, I'm asking it to get greater than start date and time and less than end date and time. So whatever I have initialized, I will have to go and see. Last time we are getting the time in this format from that, and the end date is the system date, which is today. Yeah, the reason could be the timestamp is a little bit tricky there. The format, if it doesn't match or anything, it won't work. But let me go and see the where class again, and we can fix it certainly. It is only I have to give a to date and get it into a same format as we have and proceed. But let me put a print statement so that we know what it is trying to do. That's the way you have to debug. You have to always put a print statement. Because it is retrieving from the table, and we are saying it to retrieve in this format because this is the data services format, but still it could not pull the exact data there. So I'm wondering why it could not pull. So we will take off the timestamp because we don't need the full timestamp. We just need the date. So I mean, if we have the timestamp, it is always good so that it gets a current record. But then just to make it easy, I'm trying to do it quick, guys, because we have more to cover. I did not think that I would spend this much time in showing this particular operation, but it happened. So if we read through the manuals and start explaining, it takes a lot of time. So now it bought that one record which I wanted to. I ran it in the debug mode so that it is visible for me. So this is the new record which it has to insert. So it exactly worked based on the what is it, the where class we have put, and this is what they call as the CDC operation, which you are doing a delta load and later getting the data. Sorry, which you do an initial load and later get into the delta load. But I wanted to show you something important which I missed in the yesterday's class because the Oracle was not working. Here we have the right examples, so we'll make use of the same. We don't create anything new, but this is more related to the performance tuning. But before I show that, was it okay that whatever we did you understand, guys? Guys, someone please let me know if you understand whatever so far we tried to do. Okay. So yesterday I was showing you to validate and see the optimized SQL. Now let us go and see what is the optimized SQL. If you see now, it is exactly giving the same way I want. Insert, append into system, and it says select star from. This is the optimized SQL the database will generate for you, so that it is very fast. It is going to do the load like a magic. If you have 100,000 records, it does it just in half second even. I wanted to show you the allow merge option, so I'm going to show it now. In the options, when you wanted to do an allow merge, the first thing you'll have to do is use autocorrect load. Because why we use autocorrect load, if you remember, I already told you. When you have autocorrect load, when it gets the same records again, based on the input key, it is going to correct the load. But when you have allow merge as yes, that is where it is very faster, because it will do the database merge. Now after enabling this, you will see there is a change in the generated optimized SQL. That is what I wanted to show you exactly on Oracle. How does it do? This is the importance of all the all the lecture we were doing so far. If you see, it is generating a merge into this customer CDC table, selecting data from the source table, which is very faster. If you are able to get this kind of a statement, then it is even faster. If you see here, the update and insert, everything is generated in this script, and this will execute on database, not in data services. That is very important for us to understand. If you see, if I run this job, it is going to again insert 12 records, but it will not literally insert anything. The reason being, they are all there. So we are using the autocorrect load, and we would go and set one more small option saying use input keys. That is also important for me. Based on the input key, it will perform the operation. So I will say use input keys, and I'm saying uh, autocorrect load is yes, so that allow merge activates. We are good now. If you go and see the optimized SQL, you'll be wondering, it won't generate for an ODBC source. It will only generate when it is a database, and especially when it is Oracle. Oracle allows this kind of an option of merge. So this kind of a merge is really faster than anything else. So we would run this job in the debug mode and see what I was talking about. Did I make change in the initial, or did I make change in the other one, the delta? I don't remember, so I'm just verifying, guys. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, I have it here also. So I wanted to use input keys. That is the reason I wanted to verify, and I don't have any issues. So if I rerun this in the debug mode, you'll see what I was talking about. You'll see it is not going to insert anything new, because they are all the records are already there. So if you go and look at the data, you'll notice what has happened. Though it has given all the 13 records here, if you see, all the 13 records are bought in again, but you will not see anything in the target, because it already have them, and we have used autocorrect load, and we used the allow merge operation. That is the most important thing I'm trying to explain you here. Instead of the normal operation as we do in the remaining databases, Oracle gives this efficiency. The allow merge will actually do everything in a very quick way. We'll also test the bulk load now. So I'm stopping the debug. I wanted to show the data to you, so that there is no surprise when we really look into it. See here, the same 13 records, they got updated instead of getting inserted. That's what has happened. And if you go and look at the CDC table, this is something which we inserted now. If you see, the last time was 9:51:36 seconds. If I refresh this table, you will see a different time here. If you see here, this is 9:55 seconds. 9:55 5 seconds. That is just like 2 minutes before. Now we inserted this. So that is all possible. If you have Oracle, you can do it. Even the data loads everything faster. So the other thing I wanted to show you when we are in Oracle, what did I tell that I'm going to show you now? I wanted to show you data quality. That is one important. I will put the data quality transforms, one or two transforms, and then show you that quickly. And one other thing I told you that I will show now. What is that? I missed. It slipped off from my mind. Hey Hilal, I know you catch my voice really. I mean, you make note of things really easy. Well, I told I'm going to show you something. What was it? No, just now I told, man. Just a minute back, I told I'm going to show you that. What was that I wanted to show you? It slipped off my mind. Yeah, performance tuning. This is the way it generates and insert and append and merge into. So it is the best way that you can do a CDC operation. That is fine. But something else I just told now that I'm going to show you, and it slipped off my mind. Yeah, bulk loader. Now I got it. See, there is an option called as a bulk loader. What is it? Yeah, but we did not test it or we did not practically try it. The important thing I wanted to show you is when you do the bulk loader, these options will be lost. You don't have control. That's what I wanted to show. So now I'm choosing bulk loader. I'm choosing as API, which means it will use the Oracle API. Bulk loader API, you don't need to write separately. Now if you see, these are all not applicable. These are all disabled. So you are not controlling the load. Oracle is controlling the load. That is what I wanted you to understand. So now we are going to drop the data, whatever we have loaded, and we reload it. That is the bulk loader option I wanted to show you. So when you do a bulk load, you don't have any control on the target options. Everything is gone into Oracle because Oracle will take care of it by itself. It has given a row commit size. You can increase the row commit size certainly. So maximum rejects, if you wanted to make note of rejects, you can pass a text file so that it captures all the rejects into that file. But by default, even the API generates a log file and also it will generate a text file for you. But we will have to use that option. So it will by default generate it. Let us see. But now mode, we can select truncate or append mode. So if I say append, it is going to insert the records again. So I wanted to do it in a truncate mode so that it truncates the target and inserts the records again. So let me try running this job now and see if it works. So Oracle is like the beauty of Oracle is, as I told you at first initial stages of the class, it follows all kinds of rules that a DBMS should have, and performance wise it is really fast. Now we have used the bulk loader option and loaded it, so you don't see too many statistics. You'll see the difference between earlier thing and now. If you see, there are 13 records that got inserted, but let me show you the logs so that you understand what has happened. So today we have ran the same job multiple times. I have ran this initial job without bulk loader and with bulk loader. You'll see what is the difference that you have here. So you have an extra step here, which is our query. The query transform will get the data and insert into the target in this place. But when you use the bulk loader API, you will not at least see that. It does in the database itself. You have only two steps. So that reduces one step, and if you see the time elapsed is 1 second. If you see the time elapsed is only 1 second for this query to perform. Whereas if you go and see the earlier when we don't use the bulk loader, it used like 9 uh, 0.95 seconds, something like that. But it does all these three, which is like 3 seconds. I mean, you will have to add these 3 seconds. I mean, add these three steps so that it is 3 seconds. But whereas here It just happened in 1 second. Everything has happened in just 1 second if you see. So that is how it is very fast. When you use the bulk load option, certainly it elapses, I mean the performance wise it is very faster. But while using the bulk loader, in generally the suggested way is you will have to drop the constraints. Like if you have any primary key, foreign key constraints, you'll have to drop them and then use the bulk loader and then enable the constraints after the job. And you'll also have to understand load triggers. You can always pass an SQL command here, because if you know the database triggers, what they does is whenever the load is completed, if you wanted to insert the status into some other job, you can write a trigger here so that preload it will do and postload also it will do that. So that is also one of the options you have in data services in the target. So you can insert a trigger here saying, okay, after the data is completed, why don't you insert records into some other status table? It will do that for you. Preload commands, if you say drop the index before load, yes, when you use the bulk loader, you have to put here dropping all the constraints. And post load commands, it will generate as recreate or rebuild all the indexes. If you put the commands like that, it is going to do everything in one database script. That is what is important for us. So now if you go and look at the validation SQL, it changed because now it is kind of a select class that we see here. But internally what is happening is it will not even run based on the select class. It will use the Oracle API. It will directly, Oracle will control the load instead of data services controlling the load. That is the importance. If I go and take out the bulk loader option, then you will see again it as a different way. If I say it none, you have your target options enabled. Now if I save all, you will see optimized SQL getting generated in a different way, because this is very much important for you guys, because when you build the real-time jobs, you will be surprised to see why is this required. This is something controlled by data services, whereas bulk loader is you have no control. Everything is controlled by database, and it will write the log file somewhere. Whatever we have ran so far, it will be written. The log files will be written ran by Oracle in some place on our job server. So if I remember the place correctly, it should be. I'm trying to refresh my mind. I don't exactly remember because I never went on to the job server to see this, but they will be surely saved somewhere. So let us go and look in the log. See, this is the bulk loader log. This is the exact job which we ran, and it loaded the bulk loader data, and it certainly recorded it. This is, I think, from yesterday, EDW, Aura, and let me open this if I can open. No, I couldn't open this. This is not the one. Somewhere it should generate the same scripts, guys. Error log, pipe, service event log dot text. I think it should be in one of these trace logs. I don't exactly remember which one is that, but you can certainly check in the same folder and same place when you wanted to really look into what bulk loader did. Everything should be included into these log files. You should find them somewhere, but currently I don't have time to check all that, so I'm not going to do it. But bulk loader, yes, it actually generates the scripts here. So let us not worry about that, but I'm just giving you all this information so that you make use of it. Now, while while we are at the same point, I wanted to make use of one or two data quality transforms, and then we will step on to central management console, which is the next important topic I wanted to cover. The central management console will itself take 1 hour for me to show you, not the central management console, guys. Sorry, central repository. It will take one full hour to show me all that. So before we take a break, I wanted to complete couple of data quality transforms and go there. Oh, I don't want it to actually delete or modify this job. So I'm going to, the bad thing is you don't have a control Z option here. You have something like undo, I think. Okay, we have something. So I will still save it because I don't want to delete the job because I will be sending this job to you as just a quick reference. Yeah. Now, yeah, if I close it, it will not get saved. But what I used another option. The job is fine now. There was some option in edit that I can recover the last deleted. So that is the last deleted, and I recovered it. So the earlier you don't have that option, but at least now they have given for one object. Recover the last deleted. That helps us. So I'm going to do one quick new job using the same customer table. I wanted to make use of not the customer table or some other table. I wanted to show at least couple of data quality transforms. And if we are not successful even transforming them, I wanted to show you few of the transforms so that sometime you will use them, because data quality is kind of a market hot requirement. Everyone keeps questioning you, do you have experience working with data quality? And certainly because you are data services guy, you have to answer yes. So for that we would try to do something here. So I'm replicating the same job, and I will use a different data flow and workflow in it. So I named it as DQ. This one even I can always replicate and use just to save time, guys. So I would say replicate and rename it. Again, in the data flow level, even we can do the same thing. We can replicate and rename it. I think you all know about all this, so I'm just going a little faster there. So we delete this workflow and we get the newly replicated workflow here. We are good. And I have to take out this data flow and put the newly replicated data flow here. So here I go, and I would use certainly one or two data quality transforms. Yes, let me try using them. So as I told you, there are certain important transforms in data quality. Importance wise, I can tell you this country ID is always used because not everyone store the country ID in a standard format. So I saw that everyone uses country ID in every address field they get. Data cleanse is one of the important transforms, but for data cleanse you need to have a dictionary built for that, and they provide a lot of information for you to make use of it. And if we go into blueprints even, we may find something for data cleanse. So let me spend some time showing you um, DQ batch USA initial load, and I should see something for data cleanse here. No, this is one I did which did not work. So real-time job USA address cleanse, and we'll see into this particular data flow. It looks like DQ batch US initial load. So you should see the data cleanse somewhere here. Yeah. So if you see here, these are the most important transforms that are being used today. You have the USA regulatory non-certified address cleanse. Certified address, not many use it. So we would do the non-certified address. And if you see, they are also using this data cleanse English North America, because data cleanse, if we get into it, you'll see what all you have in the output. you have certainly see you have to have this dictionaries. That is where we don't have it. If you see, reference files are rules file, email file, international phone file, and social security file, but I don't have any of these data, and they don't give you anything of this for free. You have to buy, and it did not really come with the default installation. If it had come with the default installation, I would certainly made use of it. So that is where I am stuck up, showing I mean, when I am able to show all the data integrated transforms, why am I not able to show this is because I don't have the directories. That is only the reason. But I wanted to show you some blueprints, at least whatever they used here, so that you will understand how you can use. So data cleanse, what it can do is, only if you have the dictionaries, guys. If you go into the options you see here, it will show you the parent component and the generated field, whatever it is generating. I mean, to be very easy, what a data cleanse does is, I would better show you what is happening in Gmail. That is the best way to understand it. For example, I'm trying to email Syed, so I'm saying DQ. This is the exact same thing data cleanse does. So now I'm typing here as Ahmad. If I did not add him to the dictionary, some of you should be not been added to the dictionary. Let me try Hilal, and now I do the spell check. So it is highlighting Hilal, but it did not highlight Ahmad. The reason being, if you right click here and ask it to correct, it doesn't have any option to correct. But if you say done, and it can certainly add this to a data dictionary. Uh, why is the dictionary not popping up? It generally gives you, what is it? No, it has to ask you actually whether you wanted to add to the dictionary. That's what I was looking. Yeah, even Google, like Gmail also does that, because I did it many times, and so you don't see any problem with Ahmad, but it is giving you for Hilal, because I never have included you in my dictionary. So what I am trying to show you is, it will ask you to add to the dictionary. So it will store somewhere in the cookies or somewhere, so that next time it won't ask you to correct the spelling. Let me type a wrong spelling here, which I will say debugger. Why is it not actually asking me to add to dictionary? When I say ignore, it will ask me to add to the dictionary. Uh, it certainly should ask me the same thing. I'm surprised now, why is it not doing? If I say ignore, it should give me the option. If not in Google, even as you told, in Microsoft Word it can give you. Also when you try to do an web email, I mean in email also it will give you that option. But let us quickly try, just to make you understand how data cleanse work. Data cleanse cannot work without having the dictionary. That is the importance. So you will have to certainly say, when there is a word called Hilal, how to treat it. You should advise data services. You have to build your own data dictionary there. But there are companies who sell these data dictionaries with a high standard. If it finds a suffix called mr dot, it will make it as Mr. It can identify you as a male person when there is Mr. So it does that automatically. So that is the importance of data cleanse. So I'm trying to show you in this demo about the same. So here at least you'll get that option. add to dictionary. So where is this dictionary sitting? This is something which it maintains locally. So if you install these dictionaries, it is not going to ask you. If I say add to dictionary, it adds, and next time when I type Hilal, it is not going to ask me for to correct that name because it already identified that. So this is the dictionary option. It has been enabled everywhere because everyone wants the spelling everything to be corrected. So in here, if you see, the parent component will display and the generated field name will be displayed, generated field class will be displayed, everything will be displayed when you enable those options. But let us go and see in the options what all we have. So if you see here, gender option, given name, name to assign gender, yes. Use family name to assign gender, no. If we are asking, if you use a family name and assign the gender, if you have installed the data dictionary, it is going to look into the particular dictionary. So where will the dictionary be lying? You would put it in data services itself. By default, it will pick it up from the reference files. There will be a folder in data services. If you get into data services, let me show you in app. Where did I put my business objects? Sorry. So it would be in program files, business objects, data services, and in this you should see reference files. Where do you have reference files? If you look in data quality, these are all the reference data you have. So if you put anything here, it is directly going to look at this particular place. By default, it is been configured to look into this reference data. It will come and look at this reference data and will fix that. So here if you see, there are few reference files here, but all are XMLs, and you have a GA region directory. So it is global address region directory. So at least they have given only very few directories here, region level, but they did not give. They have given country level, but they did not give us a directory that is at the state level or district level. So we are not able to use any address transforms here. It should have been easier and good if they give us, but then they sell the product, right? So they did not give anything for free. So that is the place. If you have the data dictionary loaded, it will reference into this particular area and fixes the address that is passing by. And yesterday I showed you where to enable the option. That is also very important. Don't forget to enable the option here. Why we need to enable the option, I will show you. After you enable the option, you can go and look for the standard reports on web management console. So earlier, if you remember, I mentioned saying we will come back here and look at the data quality reports at later point. So now we will go there into the web into central management console, and we can look at the data quality reports. Because I mean, I thought because in the last batch I ran, I was able to run these data quality transforms and show them some data. The reason is I was using my earlier organization's login and data services edition. They had this directory sitting there. That's the reason I was able to use. But currently I'm not able to use them. So if you look at it, data quality reports, you will not by default get any data quality reports unless you ask it to generate a report. So the reports can be generated for the batch jobs and also for the real-time jobs. It will show you this is the particular job name, it got extracted, and rows extracted, rows loaded, everything it will show you in this data quality report. And there are like 10 to 15 data quality reports that is going to generate for yourself. There are standard reports, there are some data quality reports which it will say you what is the number of records that it corrected. It will show you all that. In the real-time job reports, even it will generate you all those data quality reports. The only difference you see here is the SID, which is the service name, because it is from an online application, the real-time jobs run, and it can also capture the data and show you how the quality was and how it improved. And the same reports you can also go and actually look at your operational dashboard, so that in the operational dashboard also it can display you if I'm not correct, if I'm right, you can also look at the profiling statistics of if I'm correct, if you go and look at the profiler statistics, you should also be able to see that. But I'm not very positive because I don't have any data quality reports. If I run a data quality job and enable the data quality report, I should have certainly showed you something. Let us at least run for one of the jobs, which is the country ID, which will generate something for us, and we should be happy to see that it is generating the country ID. We are going to run that in a bit. The one other thing I wanted to show you is the match. This is the match transform, which actually can do the matching of any two input rows. It will match, and based on that it will say you this is a duplicate. It will match the exact input information that you are giving, and it will say you this is a match for the earlier loaded data, and it can ignore if there is any duplication. It will try to match, and uh, it will avoid. And the other match it can do is gender, based on your primary name, based on your secondary name, based on your prefix suffix. It can always get a gender. It will say whether a person is a female or a male. It can automatically give a title, but for everything you need to have dictionaries installed, guys. Only when you have these dictionaries, even when you run on your mission, you're not going to see anything. It needs all the dictionaries. Only when it has the dictionary, it will actually execute all this. And I keep repeatedly saying I don't have the dictionaries. So these are the three important transforms you will see anywhere you run a job. If you see now, currently this job is even in invalid status because I think it doesn't have the right is not valid field name. Enter a new field name because it already exists. Okay, so it did not actually work, and that's the reason it is throwing some errors there, because all the output columns it is throwing the errors because it cannot generate the output here. So they are in invalid status. This is a blueprint which is given by data services, so I'm trying to show you. But we are going to load at least one job now. I'm going to build a job, and in that we will see what we can do with the country ID at least, so that you understand that it generates the country ID by itself. So let me make use of any of the, I mean, always it is good to have a query transform as a first transform. The reason is you can put a where class, you can certainly monitor what is happening inside it. So always use that. And we will also use a country ID, the two character country ID, and I will use certainly a target. So which is my data warehouse target, and I'm giving a table name. But anytime I get these dictionaries from any of the places, I mean, because we are going to also catch up on data information stewards in other 2 weeks, right? So when I come back, data information stewards, I mean information stewards also have this address cleansing option. So most probably if my current company shares me that information, I'm happy to share with you, because we are not tricking anyone. We are doing is we are learning new things. So I don't see that we are using the data for any commercial purpose, except that we are trying to make use of it and learn something. So I would certainly show you something, guys, when really I have it. So in here, I'm going to ask it to generate exactly the same thing, but I doubt based on the zip code if it can give me the country code, but let me try it out. There is no harm in trying. So in the input fields for the postal code, I give it as zip, and the country, because I don't have the country field, I will get it as output. So let me pass only the zip code. By zip code it should be able to identify, because the city anyhow, I know the city dictionary is not there, it was erroring out. The remaining fields let me get as it is, whatever is here, and in the output only I wanted it to get the country name if possible. And that's all. Let us test one at a time. I can get the 2 character and 3 characters, that is also fine. Let me see if it works. I will be the most happiest person, because at least I could show one of them properly. So where is my job that I have built? This is the job. I have to pull it here, and I execute. I will not execute in the debug mode. Next time when we execute, if it is successful, I will then execute in the debug mode. Let us see if it works. I'll be more than happy, and we will try one other transformations like geocoding. But is also geocoding is also dependent on again some dictionary files only. Some dictionary should be there for it to generate the geocode. Or the row count is 0 and it certainly failed. Hmm. Must provide last line field. Locality, region, postal code fields are multi fields. So the minimum requirement is it need to have the locality and the region. So let me go back and provide that at least those two things and see if it works. So it is asking you provided only me the zip code. Instead, why don't you provide me the region? I do have the region ID. I can provide that. And certainly it is asking me at least provide one locality. So in the locality, if I give city, it is going to fail. That is where I was stuck up. So in the multi-line, I will try to do something. I will put the address. Let us see if it works. So there are some mandatory fields for the address to process, because even if you are asked to find an address, someone should give you at least saying there is a corner tea shop on that particular road, so that you will find it out. In the same way, it can perform this address cleansing only if it is given certain information. So it is not able to actually do anything here. Invalid multi-line field sequence. So let me take another example where I have at least the country name and the region, everything, so that it is easy. Instead of using this, I'm going to use a flat file, guys, because I know one of the flat files that have been provided has this information. So I'm trying to use that. DQ sample data USA. So if you look at this one, it did not take it from data quality blueprint USA, but we can certainly go and get that there, because we know that we have this one in tutorial, I think. So let me browse through and get the path and put it there so that it works. So this is the file we are talking about. Let me also change the path in data services and see if it works. Then at least if it is able to help us understanding few transformations, I should be very happy. So now it got the address one miscellaneous, which is and it has a country code. When it has a country code, let us see if it can generate the country name from it. So we will try it out, guys, now. So now I'm saving this particular one, and I have to go into the country ID. Did I? Okay, I didn't get it here, so I have to get it here. So I get all these fields. I remove this one. So you can certainly delete all these fields, because we are not going to. I mean, we changed the source, so that's the reason I'm trying to do it. So country ID. So here, if I wanted to get the country ID 2 character, I have to input few things here. So in the miscellaneous, I can put actually anything, but let me put the multi-line as address 1, and region, I have the region here, and in the zip code, I have the postal code here. Country, I don't have the country, but let me give whatever the country code there. I mean, whatever the country you see here, it is not the full name, guys. It is named as USA. We will also try for a non-United States, and we will see if it can display the country name. At least if we see that it could display that, we will understand that this is working and this is how we need to make use of it. So I pull out the name, organization, and just some output fields because I don't have city. Let me pull out. Let me not touch the city because city is always a trouble for me. So in the output, I am selecting country name, which will be the full name of the country it has to give me, and ISO script code if I want I can, and 2 character code. Let me see whatever it generates is fine with me. I don't think they have crossed the 35 character limit, but then I wanted to at least make sure that it should not trouble us just because of the size. Forget about the target because it's a template table. It gets recreated and we will have all the fields there. So I'm executing it now from a flat file instead of a database table. And if it works, certainly I will be happy. Or else we will go with the central repository, which is even more important than this. Because in any environment you're going to work, you need the central repository for sure. It again failed, guys. No, certainly it is looking for those dictionaries, and because we couldn't provide any dictionary, it is not happy and it is failing. But let me see if I can point the dictionary at least. Invalid multi-line field sequence. Field must start at 1 and be in the order. Okay, this is something a different error actually. This is not the same error which we usually get. At least if it doesn't generate anything else, it should generate the country name. So that it has to work. There is no doubt about it. So I will not care about anything in this guys. I will just give it the country and I want the country name because I see there is a directory for the country at least. So I'm expecting it should generate at least that the country name from the country code what we have. Next time I will change the reference I mean the dictionary reference for it and see if I point it to tutorial if it works. Please, please work. Don't fail. Don't fail. Please don't fail. Okay, it did not fail. At least I'm happy there. So let me go and see if it really generated what we want. You see here, it has given it as country United States. This was not in the source. It decoded by itself that US stands for United States and it gave us. But none of us will be surprised because it is United States, right? Obviously, it will do it. If we have anything else, anything new, then I would be surprised to see if it could generate for a non-US for a non-United States address. So I'm trying to find if I have anything other than United States. I don't think they would have given me because it is all related to United States data only. At least they could have Canada in one of them. but if I am not wrong, if I go back to the dictionary, where is the dictionary? Data quality and reference data, sorry. So in this, you have the global region direct. So if I make use of this and key in other than United States, let me try keying in something different. In my tutorial files, though it says data is available only for United States, I'm going to modify this file, guys. Just that I wanted to understand if it is going to do it for any other country than United States. So I wanted to give, instead of USA, I wanted to give IND, and somewhere else I wanted to give, I don't know if the Pakistan code is PAK, but I'm giving it. And any other three character code, guys, that you know for any country? Guys, can any one of you help? Australia, AUS. Okay. And anything else? CAN, right? Okay, let us try at least with these. uh, Access denied. Okay, no worries. Instead of modifying the original, I would say data 1. It should happily save it there. Oh, it says I don't have permissions to save there. I always can change the path of the file. So I can go and even get this one out. Where did I save the file? Why is not the recent places taking me there? At least let me go and see if it's saved somewhere outside. Wow, I don't see it anywhere. Did you guys notice where did it save it? That's a bad question to ask you, but just trying to check if at all you noticed. Um, okay, let me redo it. It is not going to take too long instead of searching for it. I will quickly do the same thing which I did. So let me see if it allows me to save it here. Else I have to closely monitor where am I saving. So it says access denied. So I have to save it in a different location, which is I will save it outside. So it is going into data services, one level up. Okay, it is put into my document, so I have to go get the path and pass it here, and we will be done. We can actually modify even the path here. We need not modify the original definition of it. Instead, I can modify it here, and at the runtime it should be able to pick it up. So I remember now it is put into my documents. So this is the file. I go into properties. Just that I'm wondering if it could do for anything else. Just a check on the tool. So I'm going to run the same job without any modifications or changes and see if it could convert even India or any other place, making the 3 character code. It has to generate us the name of the country. This is more like standardizing the address space. So it failed. Ha, no surprise. It says please check the path and permissions. Okay, just because I kept it open, is it troubling us? Huh. I, why will it not have permissions? Yeah, it has full permissions here. Mm, yeah, it was not allowing me, right? It did not allow me to save. Yes, but you're right. Let me try that quick option and we will see if it works. Yeah, it went into the tutorial folder at least. Let me see if it allows me. I can actually run the job pointing to this folder and it should run. I mean, even in the other folder, I did not restrict it, so I don't know why it is asking me for special permissions there. Did any one of you tried some of these transformations, guys? Any of the transformations we dealt so far? Because we are trying out too many transformations. If we don't understand the basic basic theory on using these transformations, then it is no use of using all the advanced transformations whatever I was showing. Yeah, it is the same thing. It says please check the path and permissions. I am not happy. Mm, let me point it here and see if it works. Because it should have permissions. I mean, who asked? So who told like it doesn't have permissions? But you see, it is not picking up. If it has picked up, it will show you the data here. Okay, this is DQ US additional data one. So is it the same we are giving there? I'm giving the sample data one. Okay. So now I see I have made some changes here. Canada, Pakistan, and Australia. Okay, this is also wrong. I think. Yeah. I mean, just that to show if there is a directory uh, put in the data services, it has to work for all the global address, not just the United States address, right? So if it is only for United States, I would be surprised. Now it is completed. It has loaded 24 records. So let us go and check if it has converted what I wanted to do it. Okay. Um, yeah, it gave Canada, it gave UAE because I put as United UAE and it gave it as United Arab Nations, and it gave even India, it gave Australia. You see that? Pakistan, everything is given, man. So if we have the directory, certainly it is working. That's what is the conclusion. You get it, guys? Okay. So what we'll do is we'll take a 10-minute break, not too long, and I wanted to show you the central repository options, and then I will give you last half an hour if you have any questions, and we'll call off the session for today. But currently, if you have any questions, go